All right, so this is the product that we're making. It's going to be based on a PNG, okay? And it is a laser cut keychain, okay? So I wanted to show you this before we get into the lesson. It's out of a piece of wood, it's cut, it's this small, okay? So these are 1-inch squares. And that's what we're going to be looking at, is how to translate an artist's picture over to something that's a tangible good. All right, today we're going to be looking at how to set up a cut and raster job using a laser cutter, and we're going to make some really cool keychains. So once again, my daughter has donated some artwork, so we're just going to take advantage of that and try it out. So we're going to start in Photoshop for this. Now I'm not quite sure what material to put this on. We have wood, we have acrylic, but a good design should just flow onto any substrate. So if I can make the design laser friendly, then it's good to go. A laser works in halftones or it works in gray tones. What my experience with gray tones, however, is been, I don't know, it's not been good sometimes, especially with like the type of artwork that we're going to be seeing. So we're going to think about the artwork. How does it translate? So if it was a photo, gray tones work. But if it's line art, it doesn't work as good. So we're going to go mug key. There's a reason I'm choosing this one. Okay, so first off, you'll notice that the colors, okay, are very close together, right? Very close. You got red, brown. The outline is a reddish brown, and then you get this gray. So these are all muddied colors, right? So to translate this over to a laser, it's going to be a challenge. So that's why I chose it. All right, so the first thing I do in Photoshop is make a backup copy by dragging it down to the copy machine here. This little button. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, yeah, I'm not blocking that with my little mansplainer photo thingy. So the next thing we do is we go Image Adjustments, Black and White. Okay, black and white will allow us to adjust our gray tones so that we can get the widest range. So we're looking for a gray tone that'll or separate these two. You can see that you can barely see it, but there's a red. Oh, there you go. You can see it a little bit better. So we want a gray tone to represent every color in here. That's our goal. And we might have to do this a couple times on different versions just to get it all. So right now I have this, I have the outline, but the outline's close to this color right here, but I can select that probably. So we're going to make a dark one first. That's what my decision is. We're going to make an outline version first. And then we're going to make a gray tone version. So right now, the plan is make a dark outline. Okay, we're going to get this right here. Okay, next, I just duplicate this again. Turn the top one off. And now we're going to make a lighter version for it. image, adjustments, black and white. So now we're concentrating on not the outline. In fact, if we can get rid of the outline, that would be awesome. Yeah, something like that. Okay, see these two? They're really close. Can we separate those two now? About as close as we're going to get. Okay, so let's hit OK to that. So now we got this one, this one. Are we missing any colors? I feel not. Okay? All right, so with the black one, what we want to do is get rid of all the other colors except for black. So we do a select color range, and we select this gray, hold shift, select this gray, and then we kind of play with the fuzziness. Until this nope. If you don't like it, you can undo it. So I feel right about there is going to be allowing us to steal all the gray tones except for black. Except for this little patch on his head. It's going to be fussy. Okay. All right, sweet. So you hit delete on the keyboard, and now you have this. Okay. So we can get rid of some more here. We can get rid of the center chest. So select color range. Okay. So okay. Delete that out. And this top portion right here, this gray area, we're going to get rid of that. We're going to actually use something else for it. We're going to use the magic wand tool. Or the quick selection tool. Let's try the quick selection tool. Nope. There we go. Magic wand tool is located right there. So select, deselect. And it doesn't like it, so I'm going to lower the tolerancy to 5. And there we go. So delete that out. And then we're going to use this on the eyes too. Delete, 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 delete. There we go. Now we have just the outline. All right, for the other one, we're going to use this for the halftone. And to make a halftone, what we do is we go and copy everything into a new document, and we'll bring it back. So this is the marquee selection tool. We're going to marquee select everything and select image. Nope, edit, copy, merge. Sorry, edit, copy, merge, and then file, new, create, and paste it in. Okay. Here we're going to go image mode grayscale. We'll flatten, discard. We're going to go image adjustment, image mode bitmap. We're going to use halftone screen. And this is what we're not sure of. We're not sure of this output yet. So I'm going to keep it 200 pixels per inch. It's going to ask me a frequency. And the frequency, I'm going to have to guess this until I get it right. I know, it's a pain. So I'm going to shoot for 20 at first, and then we're going to hit OK. So you can see this made dots, okay? Lots of dots. We need bigger dots though. So we got to do it again. Undo it by Command Z, and we keep doing this process. We keep 200, and then we choose 4 this time, and we got way bigger dots. 2 bigger dots now. Image bitmap, and let's choose 10. Okay, 10's good. I feel 10 is good. I'm going to try 8. I feel 8 is better. All right, to bring it back over, we go marquee select, edit copy, edit paste over in the old document. And we just kind of line it up. So we can have this and that. It's made out of dots now. Okay. It's really hard to read this on the mug though. Mug keys. Okay. So we might have to make concession over that right here. See, it doesn't translate well to dots. All right, so to prep that, we're going to go into the original document. This is why I keep lots of different variations of it, so I can steal things. You got to be on the layer. And I'm just going with the magic wand tool and holding shift. Okay, using spacebar to pan through it. There we go. Now we got that. So we're going to go and fill this with a color. So when we look for that tool, it's usually in the toolbar down here, and there's a way to get to the fill tool now. Unfortunately, there is no search. Oh, there it is, paint bucket tool. If you can't find it here, it's also located in the dots in 2022, I think. All right, so we're going to fill this with black. And that's going to be a hard fill, so I'm going to go like that with a brush. All right, let's go to Edit, Copy Merge, Edit, Paste. Okay, so that's going to go on top. All right, not too bad. It's getting there. So I don't like how dark the dots are. We can work on that. It only works in gray tones or bitmap. So we can make a hybrid of this one and make the opacity drop to be something like that. Okay, so now we get the mug. Let's make a new layer and fill it with white, just to kind of look at it. So that's our composition so far. I say we lower this down just a little bit more to something like that. So that's how you get a line art over to like a halftone. It's kind of like a halftone, but it's like a grayscale version of a halftone to make it laser friendly. Now we still have to bring it into Illustrator to make some curves around it so it cuts out the object. So this is part 1 of this video, and then we'll move on to part 2, which is probably just going to continue right on to the next part of the video. All right, now that we have this already set up, we're going to then bring it into Illustrator for the next part of it. So what I want to do is probably take advantage of, let's see, the outline, and I could do that via transparency. So what we want to do is make sure that the outside edge of this is not white, it's actually transparent. And you can see that it's made of a few of everything. It's a little bit of everything on every layer. All right, so to fix that, what we do is start at the bottom layer, the darkest one, and just kind of hit delete. We're going to use the magic wand tool in these areas and hit delete. Okay, then we're going to kind of work our way up and hit delete as we go up. So our hope is that when we have this fully present as an absolute transparent background. Oops, that one's bad. And that one deleted some of these dots, if you see right here. All right, now that we have our design, we're going to move it over to Illustrator for the next round. So in order to do that, we need to have a transparent background just to take advantage of a few things, just in case, okay? I like to keep it transparent. So we're going to make the background red. So we're going to go to this layer, fill it with red. Okay, this will show all the flaws of the design, it'll show where areas are that are not transparent. And then we're going to use the magic wand tool and try to figure out where they live. So it looks like on this layer, lots of them live. So I'm going to go like that and like that. And there, boom. That's kind of a cool graphic as it is, except for this area right here. So speaking of that area, that's always going to be problematic. We might as well fix it here in Photoshop. So I'm going to grab these 3 layers, move this over, and just kind of round this up a little bit using a brush tool. And I'll do that on a new layer. I need a hard brush, so if you choose this over here, you can put hardness all the way up. And then we can then go like this and just kind of round this up just a little bit. There we go. That looks a lot better. Pseudo-vectory, but not too vectory. I like this as a graphic right here. This is nice. So to be used later on probably. And then we're going to have to save it as a PNG or a Photoshop document. I'm going to choose PNG because later on we can use it in other things. Okay, that's going to be on my desktop. Client work We'll call it monkey laser. All right, so now we've converted over to a PNG. We are going to save it also as a PSD so that we can take advantage of the layers later on. So we just get rid of the PNG. And there we go. So now we bring it into Illustrator for some further conversions. All right, so we create a new document in Illustrator. How big is this thing going to be? You know, like how big is it? I could choose 4 by 5 and then later on decide. I think it's going to be much smaller than that though. A keychain or something like that big is probably going to be, I'll go 2 by 2 just for large sake, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be smaller than that. So 2 inch by 2 inch. Then we're going to go and close this out. And then file, place the PNG in here. Let's do that again. Place. There we go. So it's rather big, correlating to this. It's okay. So we're going to shrink this down. Of course, that shrinks all the dots down too. So just know that the dots are really small now. But they're gray tones, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, let's say it's embedded. Okay, like this right now is friendly. So let's say I decide to make the dots lighter or whatever. I can do that in Photoshop, save it, and then bring it back into Illustrator. Okay, so it's very important at this stage to save the Illustrator 2 as an AI. That way my workflow is going, oh, I made a mistake, now I can go back and correct it. All right, I'm going to copy this using Alt, click, drag. I want just this outline so I could snag it for the outline. I don't want to hand draw this. So this is called image trace. It's located window, trace, or image trace, right there. And it brings up this window right here. I'm going to go preview. And then we're going to go and up the threshold quite a bit. Okay, we're going to try to make this so we only have the outline. It might be we have to go back to Photoshop just to get the outline. Oop, too much. Oh, that works. Perfect. Maybe just a little bit more. All right, sweet. So that's done. We got this, and now if we go to advanced, we can turn on ignore white. All right, so now we have a good base. The other thing is, once it's traced out, we can go to properties and hit expand. This turns it into vector art. Okay. And then I'm going to take the white arrow go into outline mode and delete all the inside stuff. This is just kind of a pain, and we want to make sure that this thing is over here, away from everything else while we do that. Oops, we do not want that inner one gone. So we can see that there is a problem here with the design. But that's okay, because I think the outline, this is the line we want, the outside edge. Yeah. All right, steal some of this. Get rid of some of this. And we're just carving away at this using the delete key. Sweet, now I have this outline. I don't have to do anything else. Let's go back to view and go back to preview. And then we're going to convert this over to stroke instead of fill. That's this button right here. Oop, got highlighted though. There we go. Okay, I like it, but it needs to be bigger than the first design. So we go to Object, Path, Offset Path, and we choose a different offset for this. For a keychain like this, I would say that's a pretty good measurement. We'll hit preview. Yeah, that's almost too big. About 0.125. Let's see what that looks like. So we're going to end up shrinking the design a little bit. I've made an executive decision. All right, so get rid of this one. Get rid of this one. Get rid of this one. And now we have an outline that matches the design. Okay, let's go to layers and kind of clean this up a little bit. So make a layer. So we want this thing on this layer by just dragging the dot up. Now this is on this layer. This is on this layer. Holding shift, we can make the two. Okay, so we want something like that. All right, we need a ring, right? We need a ring. So we're going to go over to the ellipse tool, and we're going to drag out a ring. Now, as you drag it out, hold Alt and Shift. You can make it so it tells you how size, and it's going to do from the center out. Okay, so we want, she's young. We want this thick, because she's gonna like trash it. Oh, well, not really. I mean, she's not that young, but think teenage destructive. Okay, so got a round circle. I want another round circle in the center of that one. I think I want this at 0.25. So I got this. So this is going to be weak. That's going to be a lot stronger. Okay. So is this big enough to support the keychain itself? So 0.135, it's roughly 0.25, a little bit bigger. All right, so we take this, we want it right here. Okay. And what we're going to do is compound these paths together using Pathfinder. It's Window, Pathfinder. So we highlight the outside one, we highlight this one, and then we go, boom. And now we have a cool keychain part. Is that a good place to put it? I feel that's not. I feel maybe a little bit more in maybe would work. So right about here. Okay, so this one, That looks a lot better. All right, so we essentially have our keychain. We have to do one other thing. These have to be a very specific size for the laser to cut. So we go to Properties, and we put these at 0.001 IN. And that's 0.072 points. Over on Layers, we label this Cut, and this one, we're going to label this one Raster. Boom, boom. So now we have a cut and a raster all lined up, and we can save this document. If we ever needed to change the inside graphic, we can just go back to Photoshop and save a new PNG, bring it in here, and there's a thing called links. You can see it's linked to this PNG. So if I went to save something different here, it will automatically trigger that and then make me click relink, and it'll relink a new one in there. So this is a perfect project. We would want to make sure that it stays all in the same area. These three need to live together. So I'm going to call this mug key, and we're actually going to move all these into mug key. That way we can always have this saved together. Alright, so one of the things that you should know is in Illustrator, there's the ability to save as a generational file. For example, if I got this monkey mug, right, what I want to do is save this so it's friendly over on the laser cutter, because the laser cutter, the Adobe Illustrator, is rather old. It works rather well with the driver, however, so we don't want to update it. So what we're going to do is save this as it'll save, I'll replace it, and it'll ask me for this. I want to say CS4. Okay, and then hit OK. Now that's ready to be opened on that machine. So I am now going to jump over to that machine, which is in this one, and I'll be right back because I have to transfer the files via a flash drive. Okay. So, and that's why I would make sure that you have a flash drive. Make sure you're moving it over to a flash drive. And then you would open this flash drive on the laser cutter machine. Alright, so to begin with, what we do is choose some kind of scrap in the scrap box that correlates to what keychain or whatever we want to make, so that we do not waste product. So this is a piece of scrap. It's 1/8 of an inch, just regular wood. And then we put that in the laser cutter. Okay. And make sure that it's up against these guards here. Okay. That one, not this one. This one. All right, then you go to the side of the machine and you turn it on. Whatever thing that you put in there has a thickness, so every time that you put a new thickness in the machine, you have to focus it. So this is how you focus this machine. On the bar, you choose focus, and there's these up-down arrows. Okay, so we go back to this and we find this focus card. Okay, and we make students manually focus this. So what you do is you put this card in there and you press either the up or down arrow. If you're on the internet watching this on YouTube, Epilogue does have an autofocus feature. It's broken many times because of students. So we just manually do it from now on, even though I have the parts, and the focus card doesn't break. Yay. Alright, after you have got it focused, you hit reset. And then it sets it off to the corner. Now if you look at this product, it's very unique. If you look at the very corner of it, it's got a space. You see this little space right here because of this tooth. So I chose it because there's one other thing that we can learn from this. On the machine here, we can go pointer. And then we can go X, Y off, go. Okay? What that'll allow us to do is now have a laser pointer. And we can point it at where the board is. Right there is the corner of that board, that product. And then we can come back over here and we can say set home. So the laser cutter is now ready. Alright, now that it's in the machine, you can see that I have the flash drive plugged in. It has that folder. It has this. And I can just double click on it. It should open it in Adobe Illustrator. And this is a rather old one. So we want to say yes. Now, in most cases, this might work in the perfect world where we don't send it as two separate jobs, but that's not always the case. So we're going to end up learning how to send this as two different jobs. One is to raster it, and then the other one is to cut it. And I'll show you over there how to adjust it so you can get the right amount of power, okay? Because there's power and there's speed, okay? We have to find the perfect power and the perfect speed. So I'm going to throw this into it and print it, but I'll show you over there how to adjust it so you can get the perfect power and the perfect speed. So first off, we go to layers, window layers. Okay, so you see the cut and you see the raster. Okay, we're going to shut off the cut. We're not worried about that right now. We are worried about the raster. So file, print. Setup. And you choose this one, see what it says IP based. Okay, you go to preferences and you're able to pull this up. So we are rastering this job. The media right now, we don't know what that is, but I would say it's probably 10 by 10. It's just a piece of scrap. So 10 by 10 probably works. And right now the raster speed is set to 50% speed, 50% power, and we don't know what yet that is. Okay, so we're going to send it anyway. So I'm just going to hit OK. Print. Now here's the tricky part. You notice that it didn't choose, it's still a document size says 2 and the media 8.5. So we got to go do this one extra step every time. Setup. Print. Notice what it did. Now the media is 2 by 2 and the document's document's 2 by 2 and the media is 10 by 10. So it actually picked it up. So you have to do that every time. Now, this little waffle, I call it, the top left-hand corner waffle is what you need to select. And then you hit print. And now that's over on the machine. I'm ready to go print it. So I'm going to meet you over there. All right, now you see that monkey, job 1, monkey, has been established. Okay? Turn on the switch. Okay, a little red. And make sure you turn on the vents And then I'm going to put you over here. Alright, and then you look at the go symbol, okay? And there it goes. Now it's doing it rather fast. So this is the test one. So I'm just going to let it go. All right, now that we have worst case scenario, what I'm going to do is now go and look at it. And it's kind of cute. But let's see what we can do. Let's put it back in the machine. I'm going to go XY off, go, and I'm going to move the laser right here. That's going to be the start of the new one that I'm going to test on. And then on the thing, I'm going to say set home. All right. So now I'm going to hit go again. But this time, I'm going to hit the speed button. And I'm going to lower the speed and watch it burn. So I'll lower to 30%. So the speed will dictate how dark it is. But it'll only go so dark because there's another one that you need to adjust called power. Okay? To adjust the power, you go power, and let's say I wanted to turn the power up, and then watch that one. So I'll turn that one up to 70, and then watch it. And between those two settings, you can sit there and keep redoing this test over and over again until you have the best results. So this might take you a little bit to discover what speed and what power. When you have it, just write it down with a pen. In this case, I have power 70% and speed 30%. I would write that down. And the next time you send it, that is what you're going to be sending it as. Alright, so I have my new settings, 70-30, so I'm going to just send that as a raster job. So I'm going to go File, Print, Setup, Preferences, and right here, I think the speed was 70. Yeah. 72, that's good. It's going to move real slow through the internet right now, so I'll take whatever I get. I'm actually going to this computer from another computer, so it's going through the network here. All right, so I'm going to hit go, print, print, and out there I'm going to hit go on the laser cutter, and then I'll meet you back after that's done. All right, as you can see, job 2. This time I'm not going to move it. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to go all the way through, and I'm going to send another job called cut, and I'll show you how that works. All right, so now we're going to send our cut job over. So you turn off raster, you turn on cut. You go File, Print, Setup, Preferences, turn on Vector. Okay, and now we're not sure about what settings to use on this wood. So we're going to go speed of 8%, and the power we're going to do much higher, maybe 70%. But just like I showed you, we can actually use the same method to determine cut that we did with the raster. We can adjust the speed and adjust the power real time. So that's how you would find that out. Or you would keep sending this until it cuts through. And it's another way to do it. So I'm going to hit this. I have to wait till this other job is done before I send it all the way. So once that job is complete, I'll hit print. Alright, so this is the cut job. So job 3. Again, make sure that this is on right here. Make sure that switch is on, because this is the stuff that will catch fire. So go ahead and hit go. And yes, we can affect speed and power real time if you have the notice it's very quick though, so you don't have a whole lot of time to think. So it's better to send separate jobs, in my opinion. Look at that. Boom, it worked. Cute, right? So now what you can do is, since it's made out of wood, you can sand this lightly with like a 220 grit sandpaper, and it really brings out the contrast. So what I'll do is do that and show you. Alright, so here's the final product after sanding, but I left this stuff in there. This is canned air, or you can use an air compressor to just kind of blow it off, and that gets rid of all the extra wood particles that was in there from the sanding. So there we go. Cute little keychain. Could use a little bit more sanding right on the ring. Another thing you could think of is you could adjust the power accordingly so there's not so much burn. So you definitely have to play around with some of this stuff. You can see the edges aren't too burnt, so that's another good sign that you had to be cut right. But trial and error is everything with this laser cutter. And other than that, there's our product.